G'day, this last April 1st, 2012, there was a brilliant April 1st gag executed by a blogger that indicated that Senator Joe Lieberman was submitting a new bill which would effectively gut Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act by changing just a few little words that would, in effect, completely reverse the intent and the application of the 1996 law. Now, for those of you who have read some of my work and my comments on Section 230C, I think it's an appalling law. I can see what the intent was, but it's being completely misused because it implied industry regulation under the Good Samaritan heading of the law. And I'm afraid that the faceless giants of Silicon Valley will turn a blind eye, and they take the immunity that's given to them through Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act for republishing information provided by another provider, but they don't take the civil responsibility that's implied in the same Good Samaritan heading, where they have the ability to remove offensive material without any fear of being sued by the speaker or the author of that material. In the proposed hoax law, these changes would eradicate that problem, but it would do so in a way that would be very destructive to the freedom of the people of the United States and the effects it would have globally because of the benefits the world receives from the free speech provisions in US law. I'm sure one day there's going to be changes to 230C. There has to be, because it's untenable at the moment. The internet as it stands now affords an incredibly low barrier of entry for anybody that wants to publish anything on the internet. Anybody can be an author, anybody can be a journalist. And they can set up a blogspot blog and in no time be accusing somebody of pedophilia or tax evasion, even if it's a completely unfounded allegation. There's no editorial oversight or firewalls between the speaker or the author and the public with the internet. So traditional media, if a journalist wrote something accusing somebody of some horrible crime, the editors will cut it if it's not true. Not so with the internet. So with such a low barrier for somebody to post diatribe and demeaning and defamatory information or harassing information against party B, there needs to be an equally low barrier of entry for relief. At the moment, that's not available. If, for example, it's a Google property such as blogspot.com or YouTube that publishes this information, the affected person, the person that's being defamed, will send a letter or an email to Google, and they will respond saying, pursuant to Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act, we do not remove allegedly defamatory material. This is called willful blindness. Even if it's brought to their attention, proven that it's not true, because of Section 230C, Google can put their hands in the air and say, it's not our fault, it's a speaker, you need to talk to them. They're anonymous. They use proxies to set up their blogs. We can't find them. Well, often we can't find them. We have a few tricks up our sleeves. Section 230C needs to be changed, in my respectful opinion, and this is just an idea. For example, the language could be something like, no internet service provider will be held liable on account of information provided by another information provider. Qualify this by if that internet service provider takes action within 14 days upon receiving notice or proof of the defamatory nature of the material or harassing nature, or what it might be. 230C, the intent, I believe, is good. It's just flawed. It's faulty. It needs work. It doesn't need to be gutted, as in the hoax by the Senator Lieberman bill, which would be gutting all the immunity that's given to internet providers, which allows, for the first time in history, people that don't have access to traditional media to actually be heard. But there needs to be a modification of the law to give equal availability to relief from attacks from malicious and defamatory statements at the same level as the 10-minute exercise to set up a blog and attack somebody, or at least reasonably so. My 2 cents worth.